Hi guys, so I do have some pretty exciting news. Thank you so much to everybody who bought my first book, Strong, Sweet and Bitter, but I have just finished work on a second book. I can't tell you too much about it yet, it's currently in the editing process, but I have been doing a couple of little, subtle teasers along the way, things like multiple cocktails using different kinds of tea, which you can have a look at here if you haven't seen yet. So today I was coming out to film and I thought I would have a little rummage in my fridge and see if I could find some fun things that you might have kicking around and use them to make cocktails. Obviously, if you don't have these exact things, don't worry about it. It's more just to show you that you can get a little bit creative, think outside of the box. So the first one that I have is some jam. So this one's some apricot jam. Very delicious. I think it is a bit more of an Australian thing, but would obviously work with your usual berry jams, or personally I really like a lime marmalade in drinks as well. This one's a little bit left of center. It's tamarind puree. If you can find it in, like I usually get it in an Indian supermarket near us, but I use it heaps in stir fries and things, because tamarind's actually got like a good amount of acid to it as well, so it actually works super well in drinks too. It does have a bit of a murky color, but if you can get past that, they're very delicious. And then some ginger paste. So obviously sometimes you can't be bothered peeling and chopping ginger, and I obviously felt like that one day, and so just bought a jar of ginger paste. And again, if you don't have fresh kicking around, it's a good way to give a little fiery kick to some cocktails. So let's get into making. So with my jam here, it made me think of sort of almost like a cobbler sort of style, or a smash sort of situation. Obviously with the stone fruit, I think it's going to go really nicely with some whiskey, and I always like to add sherry to drinks wherever I can, so I'm going to do that as well. So this is going to be sort of your sweet component in there. You don't really need any sugar or anything, because it's obviously all in here already. So we're going to go a couple of big spoonfuls of that. Using something like jam to add your sweet component, it does have a nice kind of acidity, like obviously fruit has natural acid in there, so it does mean that you don't have to go as heavy on the citrus, so it's quite a fun one to use if you only maybe have like one lemon kicking around in your kitchen. Then I'm going to use a grapefruit. This one's one that I've used a bit for garnish already, so not looking the prettiest, but I'm going to squeeze in a couple of wedges. And then a couple of wedges of lemon as well. So the fun thing about cobblers and smashes and things is you basically put the fruit in there, and that sort of acts as your garnish too, so you don't have to worry about anything extra. And then I'm going to use some blended whiskey. So this one's quite a fun new one from Johnnie Walker. They've kind of dialed back the peat on this and really let it like be a bit more of a fruity spirit than your regular Johnnie Walker Black Label, called Black Ruby. If you can't get a hold of this, don't stress. Any sort of more fruity blended whiskey or single malt will work. So I'm going to go 45 mils of that. And then I've got some Amontillado sherry. So it is a dry sherry, but has a nice kind of nuttiness and a little bit of raisiny kind of notes to it. So we'll play nicely with the apricot, I think. I'm going to go 20 mils of that. Now for complete transparency, I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but that's sort of the idea of this video, is that you can have a bit of fun. So I am going to have a taste of this before I actually shake it, just to see if I've gone completely bonkers or if it does work like I think it's going to. Oh yeah, delicious. So I'm going to shake that up. So with this one, because we're making it kind of nice and easy on the fly, I'm going to just dump into my glass here. Get some of our fruit in there too. It basically counts as a fruit salad, this one. And there we have a little Frankenstein whiskey sherry cobbler smash with apricot jam. Super fruity, super fun, really refreshing. I think that would be a really fun one to throw together for yourself to go sit in the garden on a sunny day. So now you know. So for me, these two are a really good match. You've got like really nice, bright, light florals, and then that kind of kick and zing from the ginger. They make like a really good cordial as well. If you ever have fresh elderflower, that's quite delicious to make as well, and makes you, has lots of antioxidant properties and things like that. Obviously, if you add booze to it, I can't promise that it's good for you, but in general, a delicious combination. So for that, I'm just going to use like a pretty kind of like clean and crisp backbone. So we're going to go with some white rum here. So 50 mils of your white rum, 20 mils of elderflower liqueur. You could definitely use like a curacao or, even like a stone fruit liqueur, like an apricot brandy or something would work really nicely as well. 20 mils of lime juice. And then a nice big bar spoon worth of your ginger. Then I'm going to give that a shake. Oh yeah. Very happy with that. So this one's obviously kind of mojito style, but I'm going to serve it on a nice ice block because I tend to drink, it's a daiquiri style, wrong drink. But yeah, I'm going to serve it over ice rather than up because I tend to drink daiquiris a little bit too quickly. And this one I want to savor. And we're just going to definitely double strain that because obviously with the ginger in there, you don't really want to get little bits of ginger stuck in your teeth. And we're going nice and minimal here, no garnish, because this is all just kind of fun things you can hopefully throw together quite easily. That's definitely going in my at-home repertoire. Ginger and elderflower daiquiri. So now you know. So this one is quite potent, so I'm not going to go too full on to begin with. So just like one sort of large bar spoon of the tamarind paste. And then we'll get everything else in there and give it a taste and see if it's coming through okay. Then I'm gonna go in with 50 mils of Blanco tequila. Patron's quite light and easygoing, so it should kind of let everything else shine here. Then we'll find our curacao. I've got it in a little cheap bottle here. And I'm gonna go in with 20 mils of that. Got my hand squeezed lime here, and we're going to do 20 mils of this. So tamarind, if you haven't tried it before, is quite has a bit of acidity to it. Obviously in this paste there's a little bit of sweetness as well, so that's why I'm kind of doing equal parts of the acid and the sweet element with the curacao and the lime there, and we can see how they all play together and then decide if we need to add a little bit of anything else. Oh yum, it's nice and kind of zingy. The tamarind comes through a little bit, but I might add just a wee bit more to make sure you're getting that little pop of flavor. And then we'll give that a shake. So given that we're doing this nice and easy at-home cocktails, I've just used a pretty glass and not worried too much about a garnish. The tamarind really like pops out all the other citrus, so like super limey, super orangey, and then just has this nice little like earthy kind of tropical earthy flavor, if that's a thing. I've just made it up, but that's what that tastes like. Tamarind margarita. So now you know. So hopefully that's given you a little spark of inspiration. You can have a bit of a rummage in your fridge or in your pantry and see if there's any kind of half-used jars of things that have been sitting there that you bought for one recipe and have never used again. I'd love to hear any of your at-home hacks as well. If there's any sort of late night cocktails that if you haven't been to the shops that you can still manage to throw together and have a good time, because often I find that those ones taste the best. Fridge friends. So now you know.